The Artificial Intelligence Summit has begun in New Delhi, but that comes close to heels with the mother of all deals between India and European Union. To speak about that and a lot more collaboration between India and Ireland, joining me is Jack Chambers, who is, of course, the Minister for Public Expenditure, Infrastructure, Public Services, Reform and Digitalization. Thank you very much, Minister, for joining us here in New Delhi.
Thanks so much. Delighted to be here.
On the sidelines of the AI Summit, I want to begin by asking you, how keen is Ireland to partner with India, and how do you see the overall summit here in New Delhi with participation from 70 different countries and a lot of emphasis not just on the regulations and ethics, but also the participation of the Global South?
Look, we really welcome the summit that's here this week, but we're really ambitious on the back of the free trade agreement to really deepen ties with India. We've seen a 90% increase in trade in the last 10 years, and that was in the absence of a free trade agreement. Ireland, like India, is an open, enterprising economy. We want to have the best of talent and business come to Ireland in terms of embedding opportunities that come from the European Union bloc. I know there's huge ambition in India to really leverage the opportunities of the free trade agreement. But we also want to ensure Irish businesses and enterprises can trade more with India and in India. So on the back of the free trade agreement, there's only going to be mutual benefit and growth between our two countries. And we expect a doubling of growth in the next 7 years on the back of this mother of all deals, as it's been referenced. And it's really positive in a world defined by instability, uncertainty and disruption, to see two economic blocs embedding a new deal which deepens economic integration. It's positive for citizens across India and the European Union. And Ireland wants to ensure that we maximise the opportunities for both our countries. We've strong diplomatic ties, huge warmth that has built up over decades of engagement and strong people-to-people links. And AI is hugely important as well. I know this is an economy that prioritises the digitalisation of services, and with a strong tech culture here in India. And Ireland shares those similarities too. And we want to ensure that AI is inclusive and it's a force for good for citizens. And I know that's something that's a strong thematic priority for your Prime Minister here this week.
Minister, you look at public expenditure and finance very, very closely. And the last 1 year for the entire world hasn't been easy. There's been global turbulence, there have been conflicts, but especially in the economic aspect, there have been a lot of disruptions. I'm talking about the tariffs policy. And it's been tough for India, but perhaps it's behind us. But it's been tough for the European Union as well.
Absolutely.
And not easy. How do you navigate? How do you plan to navigate through that challenge, especially when it comes to diversifying trade? Many people and many countries are looking at India. In the last 1 year alone, we had the UK and India FTA, but of course, the mother of all deals with the European Union, and now the interim agreement with the United States. So how do you see this global turbulence? What are the solutions that you have?
Well, it is trying to get people back into the room, getting an agreement. Ultimately, trade and multilateralism is what breeds growth and prosperity for economies. Economies that are more insular and protectionist lose that economic growth story. And Ireland has been the best example of that, from one of the poorest countries in the European Union to now one of the fastest growing economies. For Ireland, it's about showing resilience and managing our fiscal policy appropriately, and showing strong political decision making in times of turbulence. That's why we're prioritising investment in infrastructure. I know it's a similar priority here in India in terms of our transport, digital, housing infrastructure for people as well, and ensuring that we build that resilience to have medium to long-term growth, and looking at the upside opportunities that come from digitalisation, for example. And that's why we shared the objectives that I know are here in India in terms of digitising our health system and a lot of other public services to really build better outcomes for citizens, whilst really trying to be a voice of reason in the international domain in terms of the value of trade deals. But it is welcome to see the agreement that's here with the US. We obviously have an agreement with the US which is bedding down, and the fact that in the midst of all that, the European Union and India have agreed a really historic free trade agreement, I think gives us hope for the future. And I think but it is a world defined by a lot of deglobalization in the wider narrative, but we need to examples of the last week or two show that hopefully trade will be prioritised and the rules-based order will be prioritised by countries for the future.
And there's been immense people-to-people contact and cultural connect and bond between Ireland and India. But there's also the businesses who are improving ties between these two countries. So what kind of emphasis in future in the backdrop of this trade deal with Ireland and India play? What are the key sectors that are you potentially looking at when it comes to India?
Well, it's obviously in tech, financial services, life sciences. We've prioritising investment, for example, in our semiconductor strategy, in our digital infrastructure. And we know a lot of the goods produced here in India will have new markets into the European Union. We've huge amount of innovation happening here, massive startup ecosystem. And a lot of that startup obviously want to trade within India, but also leverage the potential of the European Union. And Ireland is a welcoming place with fantastic international talent, some of whom are from India, some of whom are from elsewhere. We're a place that people want to live and work, and also with a favourable enterprise environment to allow that innovation to thrive in the European Union. So there's many sectors in which we can have shared collaboration, and obviously Irish businesses that want to trade into India as well to offer the best goods and services that are of interest to Indian citizens, and that'll only lead to more growth for our two countries.
One last question, Minister, and this is about the attacks that the Indians had faced. And there have been some course corrections. The leadership in Ireland did personally connect with the Indian diaspora. There was more vigilance by the security, and the Indian ambassador was also roped in. Is that behind us? Do you think that more community efforts have been taken to not allow any such further attacks?
Well, I can just say the overwhelming response in Ireland to those attacks was of serious concern. There's a number of shocking incidents. We've had strong engagement from Minister for Justice. Myself, actually, I'm in a very diverse part of West Dublin where we have a huge Indian community, and I've personal friends with many of the Indian community who've moved to Ireland. And we have moved to ensure that there's strong visibility in terms of policing, but also to reassure people that this was a very small number of incidents and that Ireland is a safe, welcoming and inclusive place for people to live and work and raise their family. Ireland has been built on the back of diversity and talent that has come from India, but also from many countries around the world. And we value their presence in Ireland. We want them to stay in Ireland and to attract more people in to build the best country in terms of business and enterprise. And that's always something we're seeking to reassure citizens. And this work of the Irish government is to make sure people feel safe in their day-to-day lives. And we've ongoing engagement with the Indian community and others, and we've had a strong response in terms of the crime prevention teams and our police force and Garda Síochána too.
Well, hoping the relations go onwards and upwards. Thank you very much, Minister, for joining us. Well, that was the Irish Minister speaking to NDTV, clearly indicating how the emphasis has been on the AI summit, but also on the backdrop of the mother of all deals on the trade and connectivity and the economic partnership between India and Ireland. Reporting from New Delhi, this is Aditya Kaul for NDTV.